There is a yes
Prime Minister,
vote.
whatever happens in the next few days, there's significant constitutional change on the way. That's hardly what you planned.
No, I think it's right to have a referendum on whether Scotland wants to stay part of the United Kingdom, but I always said right from the start of this campaign, if Scotland voted no to separation, the rest of the United Kingdom would say yes to further devolution. It's been good in the campaign that we've been able to say more about that, and I think that's a positive. No doesn't mean no change.
But it all looks terribly last minute in terms of the timetable and the detail. You were the Prime Minister who agreed the referendum, but also kept Devo Max off the ballot paper. If it's a yes and the UK breaks up, will you take personal responsibility?
Well, on the question of having more than one question, I think it was right to have one question, because of course if Scotland wants more devolution, and I think Scotland should have more devolution, you have to answer the prior question, do you want to stay in the United Kingdom? And of course that wasn't just my view, that was the view of the leaders of other United Kingdom parties who all thought it was important. Let's settle the question of separation and then look at devolution. Now, in this campaign, the individual parties have set out their proposals. They've been quite strikingly similar, so it's been possible to make progress.
But, Prime Minister, without that on the ballot paper, many people believe that has increased the chances of a yes vote. You might therefore be the Prime Minister who presides over the breakup of a union that's more than 300 years old. How will you feel if that's your legacy?
Well, of course, I feel passionately about our United Kingdom. I desperately want our country to stay together. I very much hope that Scotland will vote no, and that will trigger further devolution. But I'm a Democrat. I was faced by a situation where one part of our United Kingdom voted for a government, the Scottish National Party government, that wanted a referendum. Now, I think the right decision was to allow that referendum rather than to fight it. I think if I had said, no, you can't have a referendum, I think Scottish independence would be closer today than it is.
But you may have presided over an extraordinary set of constitutional events. How will you feel personally if you are the Prime Minister from the Conservative and Unionist Party who sees that nation break up?
Well, I've been very clear. I've said that it would break my heart to see the United Kingdom split apart. And a few days before polling day, I say that again on your programme. That is not what I seek. I want our United Kingdom to stay together. I believe we're stronger, safer, better off in this dangerous world of instability and problems and threats, the most recent of which we can see from Syria and Iraq. But I am a Democrat, and in the end, it is for the people of Scotland to choose. That is the way we do things in these islands.
But do you wish that you personally, perhaps, and the Union campaign had made more effort earlier on?
Well, I believe I fought this campaign very hard. I mean, this is something like my 11th major intervention into this campaign.
A campaign of more than 2 years?
It's not a campaign, though, of the Conservative Party against the Scottish National Party. It is a campaign of all of those parties and people and trade unions and voluntary bodies and charities and people who have nothing to do with politics, who want Scotland to stay part of our family of nations, and those who want us to leave.
Now, whether it's a yes or no, there will be more powers for Scotland. Ought there to be more powers for England too? Should there be an English Parliament?
Well, I don't think we're remotely at that stage.
Well, the debate's begun in your party.
I think what needs to happen this week is for people in Scotland to know that if they vote no, they're voting for change, they're voting for more devolution, and that would be put in place. More say over tax rates, over spending, over parts of welfare. I think that's very important, and that's what's on the table this week, and that's what people need to understand.
It ought then surely to mean the settling at last of the West Lothian question. If Scotland has significantly more powers, either through independence or other changes, surely it's time to end the situation where Scottish MPs vote on legislation that has got nothing to do with their constituents.
Well, that is why we asked the Mackay Commission to be established and to report, and it has done so, and I think it's a good report. And clearly this question will get more pressing with further devolution, but nothing that would happen would change the fact that the people of Scotland are being offered a chance through their own parliament to set their own rules on tax and spending and welfare. That's the key thing that people need to see this week of all weeks.
Finally, do you think we are witnessing something fundamental, not just with the rise of the SNP, but also in terms of UKIP? Clearly people seem to be turning away or have lost faith in the 50 years of politics that had been settled. Do you think we're seeing something fundamental?
Well, I think what we're seeing is when you've had a difficult and painful recession, and British families have been through very difficult times, many people have lost their jobs, they're now getting them back again, but you've seen, you know, pay not going up, living standards squeezed. When you see those things, obviously people want change, they want answers. What we have to do is explain we can get those answers through a United Kingdom government. Look, we are coming out of the bad times. We've created 2 million new jobs. We are seeing the country, including Scotland, recover and recover strongly, and now is not the time to break our country apart.
So you believe this is partly the product of the recession?
I think that, well, as I say, the anti-politics feeling that you see, not just in Britain, but in other countries, is people wanting change, people wanting leaders that understand their aspirations, and they want these things fixed. And that is what political leaders like me have to realise and have to act on.
Prime Minister, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.